It's been a long time since I've made a video like this. And needless to say, the current Antiverse, the name given to my ant room, with our menagerie of different ant colonies and pets, has gone through a major transformation, especially since the pandemic. Many new ant colonies have come, and even more have gone. On top of this, as you may have seen in one of my previous videos, we'll be soon moving to a bigger, better, more high-tech ant room in the new ant house, which is finishing up construction now. So before the great transition from the current Antiverse to the new Antiverse, I wanted to catch everyone up to speed on all the ant colonies I'm currently keeping. Welcome everyone to the AntsCanada Ant Channel. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Welcome to the AC family. Enjoy. Guys, we're going through a huge transition period, and you'll see exactly what I mean by the end of this video. But before I get into that, I have to say, my ant collection has decreased in size considerably from how it used to be pre-pandemic. Last year, as some of you who follow the channel may know, our Antiverse underwent a very drastic downsizing due to lockdown in my city, making it difficult for me to get the necessary food for my ant colonies. I call it the Great 2020 Ant Culling Event of the Antiverse. Thankfully, I only keep ants that are caught from outside, so releasing some of my ant colonies, which of course were native to my area, back into the wild was both ecologically safe and in the best interest of the ants at the time. So if you're a longtime AC family and haven't been up to speed with the latest happenings of the Antiverse, just note that while watching this video, if you don't hear any mention of a particular ant colony you were a fan of in the past on this channel, it means they were sadly part of the massive ant culling event of 2020, and they're gone now. I have also since started up some new small ant colonies, re-released a few more of my colonies back into the wild, and am in the process of rehoming others. So I'll be getting into more detail on all that as I go through each ant colony in this video. And if that's not enough, I also have a very major announcement regarding moving out and what it means for this channel at the very end of this video, and it may surprise you. So stay tuned for all that coming up. So let me start our complete Antiverse tour with the OGs. First, my Immortal Dark Knights, a super colony of black crazy ants living in the dark forest, semi-sealed bioactive terrarium. They're literally the perfect ant colony, unproblematic, non-stinging, and self-perpetuating. They're ready to move to the new ant house without issue, and I'm thinking I'll be expanding their home as well. Next, the Phoenix Empire, my massive fire ant colony, whom we watched grow up through all of last year, from just a single pregnant queen ant in a test tube. They're living in an Avatar-themed floating mountains paludarium diorama that we, the AC family, designed together just for them. And as sad as it is, I mentioned a couple weeks back that sadly, I won't be able to take their massive tank with me to the new ant house. It's just too dangerous, and even the moving experts I've spoken with have all said that it is logistically not possible without a considerable risk of tank damage during the truck or van transport. The good news is, to my surprise, when I broke the news that they wouldn't be coming to the new ant house in a video 2 weeks ago, someone in my building left me a note at my door saying they'd be willing to take the Phoenix Empire in for me, and that they lived just a few floors down in the same building. What a relief that was. The initial plan was to rehome them to a hobbyist friend's place of mine who lives just down the street by carrying the setup by many hands or wheeling the tank on a trolley. But now I only need to bring the tank down a few floors, a much easier option. I'm happy that the future owners of our Phoenix Empire said they're willing to keep in touch with me to keep me updated on how the fire ant colony is over time. Pretty cool that we'll be rehoming our fire ants to fellow AC family whom I trust. In terms of the Golden Empire, our big colony of yellow crazy ants, they too won't be able to come to the new ant house. But the future owners of the Phoenix Empire mentioned they're unsure if they're able to take in the Golden Empire too. We'll see. Perhaps they may change their mind, but if not, this is one setup we'll need to carry by hand or wheel down the street on a trolley. And now on to the Bobbleheads, our multi-queen super colony of big-headed ants. Some of you may be shocked to hear this news, but I've decided to release them back into the wild in my area. The main reason for this decision is that, if you recall, their setup was an open concept island-style ant farm with floating bonsai trees in pots. This setup isn't the most travel-friendly, though I have considered possibly putting the pots in big plastic bins with baby-powdered walls. But I foresee a big mess and ants everywhere in the bins. As much as I loved keeping them over the years, I felt okay releasing the Bobbleheads into the wild to continue the rest of their lives living in freedom outside. I also released the Bobbleheads because of this colony, a massive super colony also of big-headed ants, just like the Bobbleheads, but a different species. I later discovered that these big-headed ants, though collected from my city, were actually an invasive species. So needless to say, I won't be releasing this colony back into the wild, ever. And if I feel I no longer want to keep them, I'll just rehome them. But for now, they'll be coming with me to the new ant house, which is why I still haven't made them a terrarium yet. And now on to the Black Panthers, my duo colony of Asian bullet ants. I've successfully combined my 2 bullet ant colonies into one, and they're still healthy, laying lots of eggs, and they eat a lot. Because they're in AC setups, transporting them to the new ant house is easy as pie. And I'm sure I'll be able to find roving male Asian bullet ants in the yard of the new ant house, because I see them literally everywhere there. My roach and superworm farm, which was born out of necessity from the pandemic's great culling event, is definitely coming to the new ant house too. Thankfully, I haven't had to buy roaches nor superworms ever since, and their yield has been just enough to supply and feed the colonies and arachnids I currently have. Once settled into the new ant house, I plan on completely revamping the setup, perhaps make it even bigger, so I can produce more ant food. In terms of the young Carpenter ant colony I tried to start up that were struck with mites, as mentioned in a past video, I decided to release them back into the wild, because the colony completely stopped growing in size, and no matter how much I tried to feed them well and give them everything they needed, they just weren't thriving in captivity. I believe the mites might have been a factor at their stunted colony growth, so my hopes were that they'd be able to bounce back, living in the wild. The golden ants, my Polyrachus colony, whom you guys officially named the Gilded Warriors, are doing well and are still in a small setup in test tubes. I'm not in a rush to move them out into a larger tank just yet, because they're super transport friendly in their current setup, so I anticipate they'll be ready to move into a terrarium once we move to the new ant house. As for the royal pair of termites, I've sealed them away in the dark and can't see where they've established themselves, but am trusting they are laying eggs somewhere in the hybrid nest. The moment I start seeing workers, I'll be sure to inform you guys and make a video of it. Again, because they're in an AC setup, they'll be super easy to transport and take to the new ant house. Finally, our 2 newest worlds, the Oracle, containing our colony of giant tropical earwigs and stag beetle, and the Isopodium, our new isopod farm, are both relatively small and easy to transport, so they too will be coming with us to the new ant house. And as for our various other pets like python, horned frog, axolotls, and various arachnids, they'll all be coming with us to the new ant house as well, as their setups are very transport friendly. My fish tank will not be coming, so I think I'll be disassembling this multi-year-old tank this week and rehoming all the fish and shrimp. Although it's quite sad that all of these changes are happening so fast, I attribute it simply to the dynamics of having to move to a new location. The year-and-a-half journey of having to build a house and plan a major move, all while in the middle of a global pandemic, has truly been one of the most challenging experiences of my whole life. We were supposed to be moved into the new ant house by now, but due to delays, caused mostly by the pandemic, the move-in date might be later this year. But AC family, at the start of this video, I mentioned I had a major announcement regarding moving out and what it means for this channel. And guys, the announcement is this: I'm moving out next week. No, I'm not moving to the new ant house just yet, as it's not quite finished, but rather to a place nearby. And it's in this new place where I'll have to stay for at least the next 3 months or more until our ant house is done. Now I know what you're thinking, AntsCanada, what? Why are you moving to this random location before moving into the new ant house? The reason I need to move to this new location is because of this new variant of the virus, known as the Delta variant, which is allegedly spreading like wildfire in my region. And the government where I live has already announced that there will be another lockdown in my city, taking effect starting the end of next week. Now, this is a big problem, and not because the ant room is in danger of a second ant culling like that of 2020, because as mentioned, I now have a roach and superworm farm, so I have all the ant and critter food I need. But the regional lockdown restrictions may prevent me from visiting our ant house, which is outside of my city. And to make a long story short, I absolutely need to visit the ant house construction site on a weekly basis in order to supervise and coordinate the construction process, just so our ant house can be done ASAP. But a regional lockdown would prevent me from doing this. In light of this, my only solution was to book a cottage somewhere near the ant house, where I plan to stay permanently over the next few months until the ant house is finally completed and ready for us to officially move in. In this way, I'll still be able to visit the ant house construction site despite any regional lockdown, since the cottage and the ant house are in the same region. Does this make sense? Alright, now here's the complicated thing, guys. I've thought about it for a long time now, and sadly, I've decided that it would be best to not bring the ants and other creatures with me to this cottage I'll be staying at. All the ants and creatures of the ant room will be staying in the ant room for now. I figured it would be much easier and less traumatic for the ant colonies and critters to move all the setups in one fell swoop, i.e., directly to the ant house when it's ready, as opposed to transporting all the setups to the cottage, then moving them again later from the cottage to the ant house. In the meantime, I have a caretaker who will be able to come into my place and make sure all the ants, creatures, and setups of the ant room are fed every single day and taken care of while I'm away, busy getting our ant house ready. And so, AC family, it's such an understatement to say that this is such a transitional time in the history of the Antiverse and this channel. But it means a lot to me that you guys are standing by with me, embarking on this epic new journey of change. So thank you to all the subscribers of this channel, you AC family who have supported all the ants over the years in the ant room. I know some really exciting times are ahead for us and for our ants and beasts of the Antiverse. Now the next question you might be asking is, so if all your ants and creatures will be in the ant room and you will be away at this cottage, what will you be filming for the next 3 or 4 months worth of episodes, since a regional lockdown will be in effect and you won't be able to get to the ant room for a bit? Well, AC family, the answer to that may surprise you. One detail I forgot to mention was that the cottage is actually in a place that I featured before on this channel. A place you guys might already know about if you saw the video where this place was featured. It's a wonderful haven for wildlife, just full of incredible ant species and other amazing creatures that we can discover together and even try capturing to keep and join us, along with all our current ant colonies and creatures, when we finally move into the new ant house. And AC family, I can't wait to show you our new temporary home. AC family, did you guys enjoy today's episode? This next series of videos coming up until we move to the new ant house will surely be a fresh new era. So be sure to follow along on this adventure at our new mystery cottage by smashing that subscribe button and bell icon now, and hit all so you get notified at every upload. Also, don't forget to hit the like button every single time, including now. It would really mean a lot to me, guys. Thank you. And guys, did you know that it's anting season in the Northern Hemisphere? And you don't even need to leave your home to start an ant colony. You can catch pregnant queen ants from the safety of your own backyard, balcony, or open window starting this month. Be sure to visit AntsCanada.com for all your ant keeping and collecting gear shipped to you in a special package from our ant-loving facility in the USA, so you can get the most out of your ant keeping experience. We ship worldwide and also offer full email support if you need our help. We also have a helpful forum and ant colony trading marketplace on the site. Visit AntsCanada.com today. And now it's time for the AC question of the week. Last week we asked, which was your favorite team of isopods and why? Congratulations to God Medhat, who answered, the koi isopods were my favorite, as they look distinct and Japanese, which I admire. Congratulations, God, you just won a free Ultimate Ant-Keeping Handbook from our shop. In this week's AC Question of the Week, we ask, where do you guess we are moving to next week? Leave your answer in the comment section, and you could also win a free Ultimate Ant-Keeping Handbook from our shop. Hope you can subscribe to the channel as we upload every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video to help us keep making more. It's Ant Love forever.